Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about another interesting film, of course made by Disney, Pirates of the Caribbean, or the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales. It's also called Salazar's Revenge. Now let me tell you, I was a little bit weary about watching this movie. This is the 5th installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean kind of series with Johnny Depp and so forth. I reviewed the previous film, and I really recommend that you go and see that review because there's some things that tie into this movie, and so it's very important. But I was a little weary about watching this. I was like, oh no, it's a 5th film. It's not going to be that good. They're going to run out of ideas. And so I watched it very cautiously, and what I mean by that is I watched it not expecting much, to be honest with you. I saw Javier Bardem.
Every time I tap my sword, one of your men will die.
Plays Salazar, is the main villain. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because to be honest with you, I like him. I think he's a fairly good actor. I remember him in Bond. I believe it was Skyfall, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he was all right. I don't think he was exceptional. I think there were good parts in it, but he just didn't push me over the edge with liking him in the Bond film. I wasn't too excited, I'll just say, with the last movie in terms of Blackbeard. I'm a big Blackbeard fan, always have. Like, he was one of my favorite pirates. So I was really excited, and I didn't like the treatment of him in that movie. So now Salazar, was like, oh geez, what are they gonna do with him? So this is a 2-hour movie with 5 minutes added extra, somewhere in there. And so it's a fairly long film for Pirates of the Caribbean. Usually they're about 1 hour and 40 minutes, somewhere in there, 1 hour 45. So it was about 15 to 20 minutes extra, and so I was like, okay, there's a lot more material in it. As the film started, I think it took a little bit to get going. There were things in the beginning I was like, why is this in here? Why don't they just start with action, get into the story, and get it moving? Once they did, once we started seeing Johnny Depp and started seeing the stuff about him, his storyline, and what was going on, I started feeling a little bit more excited. In the beginning, I always will complain about this, and that's that scenes are too dark sometimes. In the beginning, I did encounter that, where it's like, I don't mind scenes in the dark, but light them up well so that we can see, because I know you want to do dark stuff, I know you want to do effects, things blowing up, but if you don't light up the characters when they're talking, what they're doing, I mean, that's kind of important. And so some movies do that really well and some didn't. And in the beginning, it was kind of annoying. So I don't want to really ruin any of the stories because there's obviously a giant story and then there's smaller sub-stories in between. And I have to say, there's a lot of them. They have the main story, and then you have a lot with different characters. You have Barbossa, you have the Turners, and you have a lot of other characters, and I don't want to, of course, ruin anything, but I think the story is the strength. The entire story, they're taken with the sub-stories involved. It's one of the huge strengths of this film. Of course, you get visuals.
Capitan!
Of course, you get things you haven't seen before, and in my opinion, this film is a lot stronger than the previous films. I'm not talking about the first ones, you know, 3 and 4 and these middle numbers. 5 really surprised me, and the more I saw it, the kind of better it got. And the very beautiful shots around the ship and in the ocean. Like, they hit it out of the park with the visuals, but you know that I'm just not about visuals. I like good storytelling. I love good ambiance with the characters. I love gravitas with the actors, the weight of the character to play that part. Then we finally see him for the first time, Javier Bardem as Salazar, of course, the Spanish pirate.
Sparrow. Oh, the sea belongs to the dead.
And let me tell you, he was a pleasant surprise. Let me say that again. I loved what they did with him and his character, how they made a character off of him and his accent, his Spanish accent, and he was just menacing. He was disgusting. That's what I loved.
There's no treasure! There's no treasure!
That's what I wanted to see. He had a heavy footprint every time he walked. He was kind of terrifying. It was almost like he was almost omnipotent. He said, Jack Sparrow. Of course, you see Jack Sparrow. There's great jokes throughout the film, like one-liners where I was laughing out loud. I usually don't laugh out loud in movies. Like, I'll find things funny, And I love a lot of TV shows, Gilligan's Island, Lucy, old classic shows. I usually don't laugh out loud, but I think they're funny. I was laughing in some of these jokes, and I was like, these are great. Like, they're well written. They made me laugh. I don't usually audibly laugh when watching something on my own. And you know, it was a shame that they couldn't do something like this with Blackbeard. Blackbeard was so one-dimensional, and this character had depth to him. They went to a backstory with him. We even go to a Johnny Depp, the Captain Jack Sparrow backstory.
Jack Sparrow.
What was really great is seeing characters that we've seen before come back. We see Gibbs again. We even see, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen number 2 and 3. I've seen number 1, but in number 1 there's these 2 redcoats that are kind of like dummy redcoats, dummy English soldiers. They make an appearance here, and I think they might be in others, but it's like they're part of the pirates now. And I like that. Like, it's not very apparent. I really had to look. They're more scruffy and everything. I was like, these are the same actors. I don't think it was accidental. I don't think they want to pass them off as other characters. I think these are legit, like the same characters through the trajectory. And I thought that was just so good. And there was even an amazing cameo that I do want to tell you who it was. You see Keith Richards. That's not a surprise if you've seen the previous movies, as Jack Sparrow's dad. But you see Jack Sparrow's uncle. And I was blown away because, let me just say, Jack Sparrow says dad, and the actor turns around. It's not even an actor. And you look, it's like, well, that's not Keith Richards, obviously. It's just a dude who looks nothing. And then I look, and I was like, oh, no way, that was him. Like, honestly, just for that cameo, just for that 30-second cameo in this film, like, I can't describe to you who this is because it will ruin it. It really will, and I can't. I just can't tell you. You need to watch the film. This is the best thing ever. Then there were so many lines. I have some written down. Witch and pirate in my shop, and then man with 18-pound balls. It was, maybe they're out of context, but they make sense when you watch the movie, and it's just so well done, and the jokes are amazing. Then there was a scene in the beginning with a bank. I'll just say that, in a vault, and I was literally like, I remember the whole scene was just so momentous, and all this stuff was happening. A lot of practical stuff, not even miniatures, like big stuff happening, not CGI in these certain parts. In my mouth, I was like, oh, my mouth is open watching this, because I was like, it's so amazing. Then you have the funny bumbling Jack music, and Jack Sparrow's as good as he ever was. I think he even gets better with every movie. Of course, there's iconic things in the first movie, but this one is very close behind in just unique and original material. Then there was this hilarious scene. You see Captain Jack Sparrow on the ship drinking and sleeping, and then a character calls him out. It's like, you're drinking and sleeping, you're doing nothing. He's like, well, actually, I'm doing 2 things. There was a point where there was a CGI Jack Sparrow. At times it was a little hokey. I'm gonna give you my weaknesses here. It was a little hokey. Other times it was really good. Just depends on what angle and the distance. But all in all, it was good. It served its purpose, and I think it was good. There was even a change in the tone of voice, which I think was pretty genius as well. Then at one point, Hardem says, "Guide the Sparrow," and he says "Sparrow." It's like he's trying to say sparrow, but he's obviously Spanish. And Salazar has a sword, and he kind of has this finishing move. And if you're ever into bullfighting or know how a matador, the one who kills the bull, does, he puts a sword up here and he does this move and he kind of launches in to the bull for the final blow. Salazar does that same move, and the camera's over here. So it's like it was well thought out. He's Spanish, he's killing all these people, he's menacing, and then he's doing that blow. And I was like it clicked in my mind. I was like, he's a matador. Like, he is a matador on the seas, like killing pirates. Like,
No. Pirates.
And of course, I can't say this enough, the Hans Zimmer music, always good, always epic. It always brings you into the story. It is a character unto itself. So I have to give this movie, guys and gals, an A-. It is that good, in my opinion. All the elements are there, has a fantastic story, has an amazing cast. Barbossa's back, Captain Jack Sparrow, but I feel they're invigorated. Maybe with Javier Bardem's performance, I don't know, but there's like this just newness. You know, when a movie has gone on 5 movies too long, you know, the Terminator series, up to when you get to Salvation and you get to the last one that they made, Genesis, it's like it's losing steam. You can feel it. Not here, not with 5. You're like, how can they top this? You're almost like, this is a great movie. And so this movie deserves an A-, guys and gals. It really does deserve an A-. I wish, if you're even an inkling of a Pirates fan and have not seen this, you have to go see this. And hopefully you agree with me, because I saw all these good elements in it. Music, story, actors. It was just well thought out. Jokes were on point. It was Pirates through and through. It was very original. There are very few things. It was a little slow the first 15, 20 minutes, but then once it got going, I was on the edge of my seat the rest of the movie. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. It was a little longer, but I did want to give you a very detailed look at this movie and give you, an idea of whether you want to see it or not. We'll see you all next time. Don't forget, guys and gals, be hopeful.